So the entire TF2 community is anticipating Valve's announcement of the upcoming Man vs. Machine update, which could be released any day now. This game mode has not had any content added to it since 2013, so we really want to see some cool stuff after waiting for so long. Out of nowhere, there was an announcement in late June 2025 on the official TF2 blog post. They then mentioned August 27th as a submission date deadline, with apparently something right before Halloween, but it's currently early November and Valve we're talking about, so we'll probably have to wait a little longer to see what happens. So what does this mean you should do? Should you play? Will it be profitable? How would the economy react? After playing over 700 tours of MVM myself and building my backpack for several years, here are my views on what I think will happen and how it could apply to you. Number 1. What to expect. I always say, hope for the best, but expect the worst. It's very well possible Valve will implement weapon changes and add new loot such as Australians and killstreak kits and whatever, but remember, it's Valve. In the original post, they only did say, we want you to make maps and missions, but it doesn't guarantee anything else. It doesn't even guarantee it'll be a man-up mission, but it probably is if we're being realistic. We can only expect it to have some maps and missions. We can hope that there's cool stuff, but I don't want you to be disappointed when the update drops. Number 2, should you play? The thing is, no one is forcing you to play and you shouldn't have a fear of missing out if you can't. If you're following the first steps in my trading step-by-step video where you start off with the Jungle Inferno contract and flipping cheaper items, then keep your play money aside to exclusively build up your trading. MVM is a borderline method of gambling which is not a shortcut to make a profit. If you can't afford it, then just don't. If you do have a few dollars to spend without the expectation of making your money back and you do want to play, why not? Just complete a tour and see what happens. MVM is quite fun where I found the most satisfaction arising from improving at the game rather than drooling over the loot screen after 2.5 hours of gameplay. At the end of the day, it's just an update that's going to add more content to the game, and there will always be people playing years in the future, so the game mode isn't going anywhere since MVM is always as popular as ever. Number 3, economy reaction. How would the economy react once this update drops? Well, we can't say anything for certain because we don't even know what the loot drops are yet, but assuming there's the typical stuff such as bot killer weapons, MVM parts, and fabricator kit drops, I think it's fair to say they'll go down in price for the short term. Demand for these items will stay the same, but a huge influx of players dropping items will cause the supply to spike for weeks, which causes a price decrease. Kinda similar to the CS2 market crash, but on a much lesser scale. I predict something like a 20% drop on directly affected items. And in the case that we actually get new items such as new Australians or whatever, I'll believe that it'll follow the same trend as every other hyped item that gets released. The price will be super high because demand is at an all-time high due to hype, while supply has to grow from the number of 0. Then every day that passes by, the price slowly decreases as the demand and supply levels establish a new equilibrium. And in terms of the ripple effect stemming from the wave of more people playing the game, perhaps every other item will get a slight boost in price and sales, which may or may not be noticeable, but it's a good thing to keep in mind. Traders will just indirectly benefit due to this update, as there are more players who could potentially sell the items for cheap or buy items for full price. And final thing, if you decide to play and there's new drops, that means please sell your unwanted drops. Their prices will sharply decrease as the days pass, and you won't regret the extra cash in your pocket. Number 4, possible leak. Now what I'm about to share is all complete speculation coming from a supposed leak through a Steam post in the Team Fortress 2 discussion area. This very well could be fake and is 100% subject to change, but I think it's worth including in this video to get an idea of what we could potentially be in for in order to budget for this update. For example, you may want to budget $10 for the tickets and then $30 to buy new items for keeps. So, I'll read out the blog post. Upcoming MVM update, huge leak. My friend who was a Team Fortress 2 content creator recently had the chance to talk to Valve about the upcoming update. Obviously not everything was laid out to him, but here are some of the big things. The tour. This time around they changed up how it works. The tour itself is divided into 3 sub-tours, each having 3 to 4 missions, so you're looking at around 9 to 12 new missions. The completion of a sub-tour will grant you one of the unique rewards alongside new and old Australians, but for the big rewards, you want to finish all 3 sub-tours, which counts as 1 completed tour. This concept's quite cool because there's a lot more missions which will actually reward you with decent loot, but then when you complete all the missions, you'll get a really good reward. The new ticket. For this particular tour, there will be a new ticket implemented. This ticket will work like a badge that tracks your progress for the aforementioned sub-tour. Once you finish a mission on one of the sub-tours, it will exclusively be tied to that, meaning you don't need to purchase 9 to 12 Tour of Duty tickets, only 3 of these new tickets that will each allow you to play all the missions on a sub-tour. So that's nice, you only need 3 tickets to play like 12 missions, which I don't know what the pricing could be, but we'll just have to see. New rewards. Regarding the rewards, something along the lines of Robotic Boogaloo 2 was described. The only directly mentioned rewards communicated to my friend were new Australian weapons. These include the pistol, bat, shotgun, direct hit, market gardener, phlogistonator, reserve shooter, charge and targe, lock and load, loose cannon, wrangler, gunslinger, gloves of running urgently, Huolong heater, Kritzkrieg, crossbow, Ubersaw, Hitsman's heatmaker, kukri, Conniver's kunai, revolver, and sapper. My favorite weapon there is the Hitman's Heatmaker because it's just so good in MVM, so I'm praying that they actually add it, and hopefully they don't nerf it. Killstreaker Fires. I finally have some confirmation on some of the new loot that this tour will offer. Killstreaker Fires will be the siblings of Stranger Fire, the only difference being that they add a killstreak effect on an item. This time, however, the killstreaks will be for cosmetics items as opposed to weapons. Based on the correspondence with Valve, the Killstreaker Fires will be class and cosmetic type to base. For example, you can drop a Killstreaker Fire for Spy, which is limited to a hat type cosmetic. Note, the term Killstreaker Fire is likely just a placeholder and is subject to change in the final release. So it seems like they're adding killstreaks for cosmetics, which is really unique and something I've never thought of before. And I wonder how these new Killstreaker Fires will affect items that already have a glitched Killstreaker applied onto them. Rebalancing. This one isn't quite set in stone, but they are aware of the many issues plaguing MVM balance. For starters, some of the broken upgrades such as firing speed on Sentry will be fixed. There will also be some price changes for upgrades like the notorious damage upgrades from Demo going from $500 to $400. Spy will receive a buff to make him more versatile, while Soldier and Sniper will receive a slight nerf. That's really cool that they're finally changing stuff about the weapons because it's getting really stale and nothing has changed since 2013. Contracts. This is self-explanatory since this was already a feature on community maps. It will be an inevitable addition to the official content. MVM-centered contracts will be implemented in this update. One of the main reasons these will be put into place is to teach players how to play specific classes in MVM, primarily Sniper and Spy, which have suffered a terrible reputation due to players' inability to understand their function in this game mode as well as how to play them efficiently. As a high tier MVM player, that's really nice to see because there's just a few things that certain new players could do to just vastly improve their gameplay experience, fun, and contribution to the team. Sapper Canteen. That's right, the infamous Sapper Canteen, which was never added, will now have its debut. Some of you may know about the unused voice lines of classes claiming that they sapped a robot. Those will come alongside this new canteen. In terms of how this canteen works, it's a 5-second buff on the player which saps all robots in their proximity. It's effectively a more efficient version of the Spy's Sapper, plus it also causes giants to seize all movement for a short time. I quite like this idea because the current canteens we can use are very stale and outdated because I only pretty much use the crit canteen one, which is so overpowered, and then everything else is a bit of a waste of credits. Miscellaneous. I wasn't informed on how many new maps will be added, however I was told that old maps may be used on top of them for the new tour. A couple of new gimmicks were mentioned that allegedly are inspired by potato/pineapple tours. Something like the gate system on Manhattan is exactly what I was told. And then there's some edits. And again, I don't know if this is 100% real, but I really like what I'm hearing. Number 5, make it enjoyable. So now I'm going to drop some quick tips that will make the game even more fun from what I know. As of this upload, I've completed 15 tours of Steel Trap, 295 tours of Mecha Engine, 283 tours of Two Cities, and 110 tours of Gear Grinder. First off, press F4 immediately, even if you aren't ready. There's a lot of time that can be wasted from even one player not pressing F4, which collectively adds up a heap, especially if you're playing a lot. And once everyone readies up, there's still a 10-second timer before each wave starts, and it takes another average 10 seconds for the robots to start dropping. So if you didn't complete your upgrades in time, ask for and use your engineer's two-way teleporter mid-wave to upgrade, which is what every high tour pro does. And if it sounds like I'm a bit condescending, I'm saying this for your sake so that other people won't kick you for not readying up, which they can do without any warning, and it feels a lot worse than just pressing one button. Secondly, learn the basic principles of the game prior to queuing and be open to learning. A lot of casuals get kicked in MVM for poor performance, followed up by an unwillingness to learn or complete silence while still hardly contributing to the team. Just quickly read through an MVM guide or watch an MVM guides video to understand what your role is for your class and what weapons you should be using. For example, if you choose Scout, you know that you should be collecting money, attracting robot aggro, shooting robots, and throwing milk and marking robots. If you're playing Medic, don't just solely heal your teammates, make sure to use your shield and use lots of Ubers. You don't obviously need to be perfect or know how the map goes perfectly, but at least know what you should do and ask more experienced players for advice, which puts on a really good impression. Thirdly, understand that people are very egotistical and short-tempered. They do not like getting told what to do unless they ask for help in the first place, or you very politely explain to them what they're doing wrong and what they should be doing instead. So either be very polite or just don't say anything at all if it's not a major issue on what someone on the team is doing. Follow these 3 tips and your MVM experience will be golden, and I hope you get a golden pan. And that's all for today's video. I'm very excited for the update, but I've set my expectations low to not be disappointed, especially if the leak wasn't real. If you're interested in my premium trading program where I literally do everything I can for you to maximize your profit, check out the top link in the description, which also features my free Discord server with over 1,200 members. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment on how hyped you are for this update. I'll catch you next time. See ya!